Donna Brown-Newton is a mother, a grandmother, an activist, and a Mount Pleasant resident who wants to represent the constituents of South Carolina House District 80 in Columbia. She tells me why for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Donna Brown-Newton, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Well, thank you, Quintin. It's nice to see you again.
Boy, I appreciate it greatly. I know the last time I saw you was over on Long Point Road, and we had a talk then. And, you know, I used to work out there a lot for the restaurant. But, of course, you are a mother, a grandmother, an activist, and a Mount Pleasant resident who's now a Democratic candidate for House District 80. So tell me, Donna, when you think of House District 80, what does that consist of?
Well, you know, District 80 came about after they did the redrawing of the lines here in 2020. And so now District 80 is, it's in the heart of Mount Pleasant. It covers as far as from the Wando Port all the way down to Carolina Park and Highway 41. But it's only on one side of 17. So you figure that out.
Since that redistricting, how many people have actually moved into House District 80, Don?
Now we have over 50,000 people in this district right now.
Wow.
It's just like it's constantly growing and expanding. But fortunately, there's a moratorium right now on some building to slow things down just a tad.
Just a tad. Where exactly are they building a lot in your district?
Well, they're building more in what they call now North Mount Pleasant. Yes. That's towards Carolina Park, beyond where Roper Hospital is located at, up that side of Mount Pleasant. And here in the Snowden community, a lot of building here. It's just building.
Wow. What more?
Right, even next to me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I would say next to me, somebody's building 2 houses. Developers, what's happening? Developers are coming in, buying property, building houses, selling for a ridiculous amount of money, and makes it impossible for the average Mount Pleasanter to even try to afford a home here in Mount Pleasant.
You know, Donna, the last time when I was working for the restaurant group, I didn't even know Snowden was behind Long Point Road until somebody told me. And I had to go and interview John Wright, you know, obviously about the museum that's going to be opening there soon. But there are a lot of people who live in Snowden, have been living there for all of their lives. So with these people coming in buying these houses, how much is that making the price of the actual home there go up?
Well, it's going to. I know it's going to increase the property value enormously because with the two homes being built right next to me, they sell these houses now for my family's been here for over 6 generations. We came here. We are developed now as it is right now, and we've been here ever since. But what's going to happen is most people in the community, in this community, is pretty much on a fixed income. There's a lot of seniors here, like we've been here for a long time. A lot of seniors and a lot of young people have left because they can't afford to live here because to buy a home is so expensive. But we just got to find a new way to encourage our young people to come back.
Now, Donna, let me ask you this, Dan. How many of those people who have actually left Snowden in the other areas of House District 80 because the price of the property value are going up? It's going up.
Well, I speak mainly for let's start with my children.
Sure. My
children, they grew up here in Mount Pleasant, grew up in the Snowden community. When they started looking for a home, it was impossible for them to even find a house there. So they had, even with what they make, my daughter owns a business. Yes. My other daughter had a decent job, and they still couldn't able to afford the homes in Mount Pleasant. Even as a renter, because most rents here starts at $1,200 for a 1-bedroom apartment.
Wow. Well, let me ask you this. You brought up a good point, Donna. How many people now are actually renting versus actually owning a home in House District 80?
It's pretty much majority of people, I'm going to say, either own homes or renting a home. There's a lot of apartments here, but not that many apartments in the District 80, to be honest. They're more up on the other side, on the other side of the highway, which is towards Sullivan's Island, Isle of Palm. That's the most, a lot of rental properties located at in the old Mount Pleasant area. But in District 80, the majority of people do own their home. There's some apartments here, but townhouses, but the majority of people do own their homes here.
Wow.
Which is a plus.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Those who can afford it.
Yeah, you're right about that. Well, but those who can afford it. So, what is the average salary for these people who actually own homes or are actually renting?
Well, to be honest, in order to be able to afford a home, you have to at least make six figures a year. So the people I'm going to say, and then you also in most cases it is a two-family homes. So you have to have both parties working. Both partners got to be working in order to afford a home, because unfortunately, you speak about salary. Unfortunately, in South Carolina, we still have a minimum wage, which consists of $7.25 an hour. It's impossible for anybody, an average working person, to be able to afford a home here. You have to rent, and the rent's so high, so you can't really afford to live here, mainly because the salary is too low. Most of the jobs here that's in the Mount Pleasant area, majority of jobs here are service workers jobs. Now, you can recall from the pandemic, what they said was they called people essential workers. But what we need to do is pay them as we consider them to be essential, pay them a salary that's affordable for them to live here. Also, we have police officers, we have teachers, we have nurses and medical people that really can't even afford to live in the community because the rent is too high and the salary is not comfortable for them to even afford to live here. As you know, it's better if you in a community, so you have a police officer live in your community. That's great. A teacher who don't have to travel, who works at Wando, Beckham High School here, don't have to travel from Somerville just to come here, because the salary, even though the increase in salary the teachers receive, is still basically not really enough to live here, especially first and second year teachers.
There's a couple of things to break down there, Donna. But let me ask you this. What should be the ideal salary for these people, these essential workers?
Well, for one thing, they need to start at least, which is going around the country, it needs to be at least a minimum of $15 an hour, which within itself is not really that much money, because $15 an hour, it only amounts to about $15,000 a year, which is still below poverty level. So we have to, that's a good starting point. And also we need to pay service workers like so they have to live off that, and basically the kindness of patrons that come into the establishment depends on how much they leave them for a tip.
Yeah, you're right about that. What exactly are the poverty levels in House District 80?
Well, House District 80, I'm going to say it's a very affluent area. So the poverty level that people who live here, it's not really that low in District 80. When they drew the lines, District 80, they drew in all the affluent communities, Dunes West,
Right.
Carolina Park,
Sure.
up there off of 41, all those homes up there. So they drew in a lot of people that affluent.
Wow.
So District 80.
Yes, ma'am. Well, let me ask you this, Donna, because I used to work up in that area too, with 41 and Carolina Park and stuff in the restaurant. But how many of those homes are actually going to be built there in that Highway 41 area over the next 5 to 10 years?
I'm not exactly sure, but I do know one thing is they're trying that. They have an issue right now with trying to expand Highway 41, have an alternate route people to get into them. So I'm hoping they don't build any more homes until they get this problem established, satisfied. Because right now we're waiting for DHEC to decide if the plan that the residents of Highway 41 and all the other residents that live in that area, surrounding area, agreed upon. It was a compromise. It's not the ideal plan, but it's a compromise. And right now, it's going back to DHEC to decide if it's how much impact it's going to have on the environment, which I see from according to the conservationists, it's not going to have the impact that a lot of residents think it's going to have. So when DHEC make a decision and we're able to go over the compromise, which is the best thing going right now, it's going to impact the people who live in Dunes West and Carolina Park, and it's also going to affect the families who've lived on Highway 41 for generations. It's going to impact them too, but they're willing to sacrifice that just to be able to get a constant flow of traffic and not being able to make it as safe as possible for the residents that live there.
What else are they willing to sacrifice when it comes to this expansion of Highway 41, Donna?
I know, according to the residents in how on the residents of Phillips community,
Oh, yes.
they've given all they can give.
Mm.
They just can't give anymore. If they give any more, what's going to happen is what happened back in the 1940s when they built Highway 41. They divided the residents' community in half. You have people, residents have property on one side of 41 and the other side of 41 because they came in there, built Highway 41 and said, okay, we're taking your property. You can have this side of the road, that side of the road, and keep on going. And as it stands right now, they expand 41 the way some people want it to be. That means they're going to take more property and shrink people property even smaller and can create more traffic and make Highway 41 even less safe than it is right now.
How many properties do you expect will be taken because of this expansion?
Well, as it stands right now, if they go with the plan they agreed upon, it's not going to take anybody's property away. It's going to ease on to the property that's already been owned by the county. It's going to have them just go into the easement and not take any more property. But if they go back to the table again,
Yes,
who knows what will happen? So, like I said, I'm just running to be a voice to the people of Mount Pleasant. I understand deeply how it affects people. I've been here all my life. So I know the impact it has on the people, especially us longtime residents. Folks is coming here and speaking who have just been, I went to a meeting I had, we were talking about 41. A gentleman got up and spoke. He said, what they need to do, the people on Highway 41 need to sell their property. He's only been in, mind you, he's been in Charleston and Mount Pleasant for less than a year. And the first thing he says to people to do is give up your property. That's not an answer. We got to think about the people who live there and think about what they care about, think about their heritage and not just come in and say, just sell your property. You don't like what's going on. That's not an answer. Luckily, he's just a citizen. He's new. Maybe he don't understand, or maybe he's just a selfish individual. I don't know.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Oh no, you go for it. I'm sorry.
No, that's what I want to say, that we just have to work together, put the citizens in consideration before we make these decisions. I mean, all the citizens, not just some, especially ones who just came here. We got to consider everybody and weigh the situation together and come up with the best solution that's going to benefit everybody in the community. And that's why I'm running, because I want to be able to talk for these people who are not being spoken for, who are being looked over for time and time again. So I want to be the one to come in there and say this needs to be done. Because as it stands right now, my opponent is just working in tandem with the federal government, as far as what they're saying in DC, then trickle on down to South Carolina, and they say, oh, this we got to pass, swear to pass. That's why right now we have a 6-week abortion ban. They call it fetal heartbeat bill. Those are things that my opponent's been working on that needs to be repealed, because women are dying, because this abortion care is health care. A woman has died in Georgia from having an abortion because she needed a simple procedure that would save her life, and they didn't do it. And I think back to this woman. I had a premature birth, and I had to go back in because they had to go in there and do the same procedure to me, which is now it's called a DNC. We go in there because sometimes when you have premature birth, some parts of the placenta is left inside. You have to go in there and clean it out. So just think, if that happened today to me, I may have the same fate that a woman in Georgia who died because she needed a simple procedure done. The doctors, because the government here in South Carolina have locked your hands more or less as far as treating women for health conditions.
I wish I had more time to expand on that and get ask you some more questions about it, but I'm running out of time. But I tried to get your opponent, that is Kathy Landing, state representative on Quintin's Close-Ups. She's backed out of plenty of my interview requests, but I hope to get her back on Quintin's Close-Ups soon. But let me ask you, when it comes to Highway 41, Donna, how many lanes do you expect that DHEC and the Department of Transportation will actually expand with this?
As it stands right now, according to what they have down as the agreed upon compromise.
Right.
It will expand Highway 41. It will only add an additional lane to Highway 41, which would be a middle turning lane on Highway 41. The problem comes in that because they want to turn off a Highway 41 at a certain state up there near where Dunes West at, and route it through Park West.
Right.
And they said what's going to happen. That's what it's going to be. There's no road there now. It's going to have to create a road. It's going to have to cover. It's going to affect the marshland there and the wetlands there. So that's the issue that's going on right now. They said they build that road by Park West is going to affect the wetlands. But my problem with this is, before you built Park West, Dunes West, and all those properties up there, you knew it's going to be an infrastructure issue. So what they should have done, what Mount Pleasant was supposed to do, that was the plan. Mount Pleasant was supposed to create these infrastructures first, so there won't be all this traffic on Highway 41, which they didn't do. And of course, if I live in these areas, I would feel some sort of way about it myself and say, well, y'all put a road out when I bought this property, the road wasn't here. So the issue comes in now because they want to build the roads now, and people are comfortable. They don't want to be out of their comfort zone and having a road near, even if it's 30 feet from their house. They don't have a road there now because that's not what they're used to. But I blame the developers, and I blame somewhat the town of Mount Pleasant for allowing developers to continue to build without creating a proper infrastructure that's going to be beneficial for everybody.
What would be that ideal infrastructure for that area right now, Donna?
As it stands right now, I'm going to go back to what the compromise they have. Ideally, it would leave it like how it is right now, and then it's built off the road through Parkway. That's where most of the traffic is coming from.
Right.
Dunes West, Parkway, those areas.
Yeah.
So they can get to their property. So either you can do that and leave 41 like it is and build a new road. But like I said, the same thing on routes. People don't want a road there because of the problem. Seeing we have the same issue right here on Long Point Road going to the port.
Right.
They want to expand that because when they built the port, and they didn't realize the traffic, the truck traffic is becoming so much now that the port wants to have their own exit off of 526, and which means coming in and taking property away in the Bell Hall area up there. And of course, people are opposed to that, which is understandably so. And the port should have, they said they make these 20-year plans. We need to be a little more, getting more granular with those and go down to the bottom and realize, okay, 20 years from now, a developer getting there and build these homes, how is it going to affect the traffic going there? So we got to do more planning ahead, opposed to trying to react when things happen like we are right now. Stuck with 41, needing to be expanded again, and also converting traffic through Park West and Dunes West, what the residents don't want, but we need to do something to alleviate the traffic that's on Highway 41.
And I know that area very well. It's so busy, especially in the afternoons, as you know, living out there as well. But let me ask you, where should they direct all of this other traffic to besides Park West?
Well, that's going to be Park West is going to. Basically, there's no place else for it to go. 17 right now is already congested. And what's happening, they build these homes in Berkeley County on Clemens Ferry Road. They're planning on building 1,800 new homes out there. So that's more traffic. So it's just, we just got to slow down. We got to slow down until the infrastructure catch up what's going on. And build these homes, that means 1,800 more homes. You're talking at least double that, 36,000 more cars on the road, possibly hitting 41 along the way. So we need more people at the table, especially need people who live in the community at the table, helping them when they make these decisions and plans. Unfortunately, people who live in the county they're not allowed to be on Mount Pleasant Town Council because we're not considered Mount Pleasant residents. We consider Charleston County residents, even though we live in town Mount Pleasant. We can't serve any Mount Pleasant boards or commissions because we're not considered. Most of the people live in Snowden, and people live in say in the Phillip area. Sure, not a part of town of Mount Pleasant. Yeah.
So, are you all living in the incorporated areas of Mount Pleasant or Charleston County?
Charleston County. We're in an unincorporated area of Mount Pleasant. Yeah.
Wow. So, let me ask you this, Donna. what type of services do you all want from the town of Mount Pleasant that you can't get because you all are obviously incorporated?
Well, I would like to be able to vote on for the town council members, and I would also like to be a part of the commission. Even though they should carve out a space for the unincorporated area that lives in the municipality to be able to have a voice on what town council is doing and saying, even though we're not actually a part. We're still in Mount Pleasant, whether we're a part, whether we live in consider Charleston County or not. We're still in Mount Pleasant. Anything that happens in Mount Pleasant is ultimately going to affect everybody in Mount Pleasant, whether you live in town or the county.
Well, how about sewer? How about water?
Well, we have. Oh, that's another issue. Right now, I live in an area that's not fully have sewer in it as of right now. We just started this process started about 20 years ago, and in Mount Pleasant we had the federal government gave Mount Pleasant Waterworks funds to apply sewer in all the Snowden community. They didn't finish the project. Then they came back a couple of years ago. Town of Mount Pleasant realized that they had some residents in the area that lives in Snowden community, but it's actually part of Mount Pleasant, that they found funds that they were going to pay for the sewer in that area. So they came and they hooked up everybody that's in the town of Mount Pleasant that wasn't already connected to sewer. So that there was about 30 or 40 homes that got connected. Hopefully, Mount Pleasant Waterworks said that they applied for grants. They had got grants. The county gave some money. Mount Pleasant gave some money. Federal government gave some money. So hopefully they're going to finish the rest of the Snowden community, which also affects me. I don't have a separate tank. Sewer in my area. I'm still using. I'm on a separate system. We have water, and what happens, because we can get the sewer in Mount Pleasant, but Mount Pleasant Waterworks and the town of Mount Pleasant has an ordinance that says that if you're not a part of the town of Mount Pleasant, you cannot connect to Mount Pleasant Waterworks. So even though Charleston County also passed an ordinance that that should be a stipulation, Mount Pleasant says it is for them. Waterworks are abiding by Mount Pleasant ordinance. So we're like trapped in the middle as far as either we have to wait for the connection to come through. They're working right now. We can't receive connect to sewer unless we become a resident of Mount Pleasant. Anybody right now coming into the town of Mount who move in the Snowden area,
right,
you have to become a resident of Mount Pleasant in order to connect to sewer.
And how many people have actually moved into that area that actually have become, I should say, Mount Pleasant residents?
Well, as it stands right now, it's only like 5 new families that have come in that I know about that has been required to become a part of Mount Pleasant. And also another stipulation, people on property in Mount Pleasant and Snowden right now, they're not allowed to even get their property, even though the sewer come across it, they're not allowed to connect to sewer unless they annex in town of Mount Pleasant.
Wow. So you talked earlier, obviously, Donna, about the money and the funds that they promised you all, and then something else happened and whatnot. So with all of that being said, how many funds do they have available to help you all right now and get connected to the sewer?
And now they have, I want to have my notes from it. I think they was able to secure about $4 million. Okay. I could be low on that number. I don't have it right in front of me. I think it's about $4 million. And we have, as it stands right now, we have about maybe 60 homes still left that need to be connected.
Wow. To be connected. How long do you think that will take?
Well, they have until December of 2025 to get it done. If not, the money goes back.
Wow.
So we have about a year and a half. Yes, a year and a half.
Wow. And what are you all doing as far as alternatives until the town of Mount Pleasant and I guess Mount Pleasant Waterworks decide on a decision on this?
Well, they already decided that they're going to connect the people who already have dwellings. If you already have a dwelling here, and then you get connected. The people it's going to affect the most, the ones who haven't built a house yet, waiting for sewer to come in. to utilize their property, they're the ones going to be impacted mostly by the fact that Mount Pleasant has this ordinance that Mount Pleasant Water has an ordinance that you have to also annex in the town of Mount Pleasant in order to get sewer. So that's where we're at right now. Is the money they have right now that they're able to secure, like I said, from the county, they got some money from federal government, and also there was a grant that Mount Pleasant Waterworks was able to obtain. So that's where that money is coming from right now. But as I stated before, you have until December the 25th for the project to be finished.
Wow.
Right, as it stands right now, they're out for bids. The last time we spoke to the gentleman from Mount Pleasant Waterworks, the general manager, he says out for bids right now. So that's where we're at.
Wow. I want to get you back on Quintin's close-up so we can talk about that in depth, after the election and beyond. But let me ask you, I want to talk to you about, obviously, infrastructure, but how many infrastructure projects are actually going on in your district right now, District 80?
Only thing that's going on right now, they made a change to 41 to sort of ease up some of the traffic and slow things down. Up to Joe Rouse Road, they have they put some barriers and change the light, how it flows up there. That's the only thing that's going on right now. That has happened. I haven't seen an expansion to Highway 17. I haven't seen the expansions to anything basically right now. So no, nothing.
Let me ask you this then. What exactly is your 5-point plan for economic development in that area?
Well, what I would do basically is slow down on some of the development. We need some affordable housing, so-called workforce housing for folks to come in. So I would definitely look into ways of getting houses where the public workers can be able to afford to live, like nurses and police officers and teachers can afford to live at. So I would start with that. And at basic general people, we need a place for folks to live. And we also need public transportation, which is also another infrastructure that needs to be done. We need to create a more accessible public transportation that runs on a regular basis, where that would alleviate a lot of traffic on Highway 17 and surrounding areas if we had a better bus system where folks would be more comfortable getting the bus and going to work, and even not even also going to work, but be able to go to the store and shop, because everybody don't have a car, and some people like to get on the bus, go to the movie theater, go shopping, go grocery shopping, what have you. But we need those things. We need to have those some of the infrastructure.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry I lost you there, but let me ask you this. I want to go back to that. But what exactly is your 5-point plan if you become a state representative to lower prices at the grocery stores?
Well, as it stands right now, us as representatives really can't do anything about the pricing that their company set. I would like to just be tag on to what the Vice President Harris is saying. We need to penalize these businesses because they're the corporate greed and price gouging. That's where it's coming from.
Is it really the businesses, Donna?
Sir?
Is really the businesses the problem?
No,
or is it the government?
No, the government can't do anything with prices, to be honest. We don't set prices. We can't set prices. What we can do, we can hold them accountable for price gouging. When you make 800% profit, and your price of egg is still $3, it's the company. It's the company doing something, and it's not trickling down because they're keeping the profits to themselves and not helping the consumer by reducing the price of eggs. Because right, I understand right now, eggs is $2 a dozen. I understand we had the bird flu back then that made egg prices still pretty high. But other things can come down to the fact that when corporations are making that record profit, over 400% profit, they can reduce the price of items. The government really can't set prices. So only thing I can do is find a way for us as a representative, speak to the organizations, make sure they understand how it's impacting the consumers, and hopefully they will come up and consider reducing the price and make it easier for people to go in the store and buy groceries.
Well, isn't inflation the problem, Donna?
There's no inflation now. We don't have inflation right now. Inflation is at less than 1% right now. We don't really have an inflation issue. So if we did, the federal government would not have dropped. The Feds would not have dropped interest rate a 0.5%. So if inflation was going on, that wouldn't have happened. So there's no inflation going on. They keep saying inflation, but there's no inflation. People are working more. Wages are steadily, it's going up, not like we'd like it, as much as I'd like it to be, but it's going up. So it's a chance that inflation is coming to a no. We're United States and one country that have a grip on this, and we're the only one that's being able to have benefit more, and I've seen our economy grow more since the pandemic. So there's no real inflation going on right now.
But if you go back to last year, Donna, inflation came down to 3.2% in October of 2023, but prices are still going up. So isn't it going up at a slower rate than before?
The prices is slowing down as far as going up, but there's no inflation right now. And inflation pretty much is leveled out.
Leveled out where?
Well, I know you don't see the grocery store. The gas prices going down. You see the gas prices going down. It's now down in some areas to $2.65 a gallon. So things are going down. It's easier. It's quicker for price to rise than for it to decrease. So what's happening? That's why you see price went up so quickly, and it's taking a little bit longer for it to come down. But it's coming down. It's coming down slowly, but it's actually coming down, and eventually people will start to feel it. And when they go to the grocery stores, they'll start to see that, oh, this eggs cost $5 last week. Today it only costs $3.
But isn't it true that inflation is 3% higher than last year, which may be 3% higher than the year before, which means inflation is actually up 6% over the past 2 years or 2 years ago?
No, I don't have the inflation numbers in front of me right now, but based on what I've been hearing, and my understanding is inflation is going down. But all the numbers I've seen before, all the comments I've seen on television and on news shows, they said inflation is definitely going down. It's going in the right direction. Well, it may be at a point right now where it's still, people may, like I said, it's still at a point people still haven't quite felt it yet, but it is going down. Because if it wasn't going down, the Feds would not be able to drop the interest rate if inflation was going up. They do that to help bring down inflation. So that's why it's lower now. That means people be able to go out now and be able to borrow money, be able to buy a home, be able to buy a vehicle, because the interest rate is going down, because inflation is going down.
Well, if that's the case, Donna, how many people in your district are actually buying homes right now?
Maybe I'm gonna say at this point about maybe 10%.
Now, inflation is up 17% in the 3.5 years since President Biden and Vice President Harris have been in office. What exactly how has that affected your constituents in your district?
Where are you getting numbers from? Because you got numbers that I don't know about. These numbers are not
did my research.
Current numbers?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. These are current numbers. Yes, ma'am. I'm doing my research. Yeah, I've done that.
I know you do your research. You're good. You do your research.
Thank you.
I'm just hearing numbers you're saying. I don't know where you're coming from. I'm hearing something else from economists other ways of saying inflation is coming down, prices are coming down, inflation is coming down. But you're telling me, state your source.
Yes, ma'am.
I need to check this out. Yeah.
Yeah, inflation is up 17% in the 3.5 years since President Biden and Vice President Harris have been in office, I should say. So where exactly has that affected the constituents in your district?
Well, as I said before, this area is pretty affluent. So I don't think it's only affecting them as far as where they live at. I don't see the impact the rate that you're seeing is coming up. So it's not having that much of an impact. People are still building. People are still able to shop here. District 80, people are pretty much comfortable as far as shopping and going to the stores. But the main thing we need to have is a better infrastructure in our area, better, less congestion and traffic. Those are things that we really need to see.
And I wanted to ask you about obviously housing, because what exactly do you need right now? Is it really workforce housing, or is it affordable housing, or is it attainable housing?
Things, because affordable housing is sort of misleading. Affordable for who? If you make over $100,000 a year, affordable for you may be a $500,000 house, but that may not be affordable for me. So affordable can be misleading sometimes. Workforce is more or less considered people, average working people. That's why workforce and attainable pretty much, well, no, that's something different. Attainable. Workforce, many people who work, and the workforce is making the average income, which is about $50,000 a year. Attainable mean you have a place to live. As it stands right now, we have no attainable house in Mount Pleasant because we need to build more homes that goes back to being affordable and workforce. So build houses, build more, put houses in areas where people can afford to live.
Well, how many more houses do you need to keep up with that growth that's coming to North Mount Pleasant and in your particular district?
We need at least some townhouses that's more available percentage-wise, based on the working population we have here in Mount Pleasant. I'm going to say we need at least 25% more homes, either single-family homes, multi-level homes, things like that for people to be able to live in.
Donna Brown-Newton, thank you so much again for your time here on Quintin's Close-Ups.
Well, thank you very much, Quintin. Now I'm going to check on those inflation numbers because our numbers are just not jiving together.
Thank
Make sure to get it together. Thank you very much, Quintin.
Thank you.